my old stage plays. And so I think I'll read this one. This was written back in the 1990s. I can't remember exactly what date. I don't think there you go. Back on last draft was June 19th, 1998 at 2:37 a.m. And so I'm going to read this play. I never sent this play out, by the way. So, I don't think I thought too much of it, apparently. So I never sent it out. I had a couple people read it, a couple friends that were in the theater. They sort of liked it, but probably it was because of their reaction, especially one lady that I belonged to a theater group in New York City in the 90s called The Field, Field. I don't know if it still exists now. I've been in Oklahoma since May of 2000, so don't really know. I was born and pretty much raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then from 1970 onward in New Jersey, and then I lived a little in Colorado, and I lived a little in Utah. So anyway, I don't know if the Field still exists there in New York City. It was in Soho, really cool little place to hang in. And I remember one lady that was pretty much in charge of our group, which were like stage readings or cold readings, performance art, things of that nature, dance. And I remember her reading this, and I don't remember getting a very good reaction from her. So probably the reason why I never sent it out. I think I just wound up shelving it. So I'm going to read it. It is not too long, I don't think. Maybe it is. It is 65 pages long. I hope I can do it in one setting. If not, then I will do Act 1 and then Act 2 in separate videos. So let's see how it goes. At the end of the play, I'll explain what it was about, as far as I remember what it was about. And so I'll just read it. The play is called Death and the Flower, and it's a play in 2 acts. The players are Claire Stillman, a pleasing, understanding husband in his late 30s, Toby Stillman, a strained mother and wife in her middle 30s, Stuart Stillman, a son to Claire and Toby around the age of 7, Heidi Eric, Claire's co-worker in her early 20s, Alina Thomas, Toby's mother in her late 50s. The scenes are broken down as such. Act 1, Scene 1, Theater House. Scene 2, Stillman's home bedroom. Scene 3, Stillman's home parlor. Scene 4, Stillman's home parlor. Act 2, Scene 1, Stillman's home bedroom. Scene 2, woods. Scene 3, woods. Scene 4, laboratory. Scene 5, theater house. The time is the not-too-distant present. I just want to preface this by saying, as I do in all my cold readings, I am no actor. Absolutely no actor. Hardly can express things. So, as far as acting. So, just going to have to deal with me. So, it's really, literally going to be extremely cold, bitter cold reading. So, I'll start off with the names and then who speaks, to who. And then I'll just, after a few lines, then I'll just stop with the names. Anyway, Act 1, Scene 1, setting, theater house, dark, 2 chairs. At rise. Before the lights fade up, we hear music. Preference is Handel's The Water Music Suite. Number 2, Andante Espressivo. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Count 50. The music fades into the background as we hear voices from the live show, but as if in the distance or barely heard. Count 5. As the lights fade up, the beam of light from the live show off stage, we see Claire Stillman and Toby Stillman seated side by side, as in rows of seats in a theater house, but with no one else around. Silence. Claire. I'm watching. Count 2. Toby. So am I. Silence. I don't want to die. Silence. Our journey's been long. Claire. But clear. Count 4. Toby. Yes, it's been clear. Very long silence. And then I'm just going to do the lines. Sometimes too clear. To pass through madness. Toby looks at Claire. I've been told is wise. Claire looks straight ahead. One never really knows. I want to know. I know you do. Claire turns to Toby. Claire comfortingly smiles. Toby places her hand in his hand, grasps Claire's hand. Toby stares down at Claire's grasped hand. I just want to say real quick before I continue on. When I used to write my plays, especially in the 90s and even in the 80s, I used to be very descriptive in my plays. And when I finally got some of my stuff actually staged by a producer and a director, I started to eliminate a lot of those directions. So you could tell this is somewhat of an earlier piece of mine. But anyway, continue on. We're in this together. I never felt closer. As if you may too. Toby looks up at Claire. As if I am. Toby begins to tear. She turns down to Claire's clasped hand. Too young to realize the difference. Maybe in his own way. Have you tried? Sometime soon. Last night I led on. And he giggled. Toby looks up at Claire. Patience. So difficult. But we must be. I figure fate. No blames involved. Thanks, Claire. If too late, maybe it's space will tell. I want him to be there. He will. With knowing. I don't want to do this alone. Claire grips Toby's hand tighter. I'll tell him tonight. Now let me watch. Toby and Claire kiss. Toby eyes Claire. Toby turns to the live show or the light. The light drowns her, or she disappears from sight. Toby reappears. Toby and Claire sit side by side, watching the live show or the light. I have things left to do, like I want to go back to graduate school and finish. You could. I have the attic left to renovate. You will. I have that trip to Beijing. We can. I have grandchildren to hold. Claire turns to Toby. Toby stares straight ahead. Toby. Toby remains quiet. You mustn't. What? May we go home? I'm fine here. Alina probably fell off to sleep. Stuart's being well taken care of. Your mother dislikes long hours. My mother will be fine. Are you? Am I what, dear? Happy? Toby. Yes, darling. May we go? The curtain falls in less than a half hour. This show pleases you? Every time. As long as you're pleased. I am. Some of these descriptions I'm just going to leave out. I'm dying. Silence, except for her quieter tears. He kisses her hand. I really like this show. I really do. I'm sorry, darling. Never be sorry, but I am, for better or for worse. Words, just words. Those words meant then, they mean now. You're too good. You're better. I could be better. Much better. Maybe we'll outlast this too, the miscarriage. I thought then, what could ever be worse than that? Stuart losing a sister, and you're losing a wife. Maybe we go, if you like. Claire is about to stand, but Toby holds tighter. A while longer. Please, if you like. Am I being difficult? No. I love you. I love you too. So tell me something about my day. Anything. Make it delightful. Heidi reappeared. Smiling rays of light. That one. How many charms this time? Such a delicate little thing. Again, the subtle flirt. She asked about us. Any responsive reply? No chance. Your equal to has boundaries? She edges toward me. At least you've someone in line if I'm sorry. Don't be. But I am. Please don't be. I feel like I must. You've no choice. I prayed last night. Prayer? You, I know, but what could I lose? Trying. Any response? I'll keep trying. Maybe if we both pray, a double dose, he may bend our ear. He may bend our way. He's given up on me, spoken like a true saint. Maybe if I hadn't passed judgment, self-doubt, just a thought. Testing waters. Reality's undertow, surrounding me. We've still such much time, centering me, maybe more than explained, anchoring me. Poetic moves. I'm still a contractual finish. Bookmarkers abound. Amusing what is. This performance before us, our words between us, the stars above us. Let's keep the eminence here, so elegant yet quaint. Without an outer edge, nothing matches up. A dash of lyric bits I've rubbed off. You're truly a marvel. Then counts very little. To have known you is to have known. So much I'll never be. I'll give away the past for a cup of time. Let us drink. A thought so poor. Maybe with not knowing, you'd have been better off. Not with knowing, only unable to act. Powerless. When life ceases, it'll cease without me. And break down its walls, enclosing me, stare down its eye, prejudging me. Take down its wit, mocking me. Annihilate its being. My biophysicist. And simply aiding. We'll make this together. How will we approach Stuart, honestly? Not too sudden or not too sudden or rigid. You take one side, I the other. Be there. Unless I wait for him to approach me. No, Claire, we must act now. I can only hope his studies aren't disrupted. Maybe I need him more than he needs me. Don't start. He requires your strength. Objectivity. Outside us and Alina, who does he really have? I just hope I'll be able to handle his reaction. He's a creative, reactive child who'll pull through it. Probably better than I will. Sometimes I wish we lived forever. It'd be sorrowfully crowded, yet quite progressive. How's that? A Moses, a Galileo, Einstein, King? Lately it's a crisis forming. Whose nuclear exchange next? Einstein paradox, creator, destroyer, in search of a balance unknown. The beauty of humanity is in its fragile. I blew that line. Sorry. Man, I haven't read this since 1998, so I have no idea about the timing of it or anything. I don't know these characters at all. The beauty of humanity is in its fragility, ever so burdensome, our severe cross. A few steer the mass into a roadside wreck. And here we are, Toby, citing examples like an example cited. Welcome your peace. Peace, yes, but its length I've no need for. Maybe if you'd only believe again. Losing my father at an early age probably damaged me beyond all belief. or so I believe. You're a fine, free-spirited, righteous believer who searches for symmetry in all too well-known deep chaotic well. In an all too well-known deep chaotic well. It's amazing how I used to write. It's very poetic, by the way. Poetic drama, or poetic tragidrama. Etch that summation into my stone, please. And this thankless kick in your sweet pants weakens your defense. Essentially, its design lies pointless. Sudden death is a broad slap back across its face. I should be so lucky. To stand as an evergreen is to withstand. I was born in the wrong era. Could there ever be another better? An endless passage toward a galaxy uncharted, where hope resides always, and pestilence, no maladies, nor heartache, or political persuasion. You're talking heaven. I am, aren't I? Maybe I'm finally talking right. Man's concept of an endless awareness. No dice. Maybe I never know. To have known none is to have known best. Only in Tibet. Only. Up to eat, down to defecate, oh relative. Where's this conversation heading? Afraid as always, nowhere. Let's go home. Right, let's go. Claire and Toby rise. Claire and Toby walk off, exit, lights out. End of scene 1. I was going to say, I'll probably finish this play here, but it's just the way I wrote, and, believe it or not, theater is all about timing. Everything's about timing. And I haven't read this in 17 years. I haven't even looked at it. I haven't even read it in 17 years. And I forget the timing that I was using. So a lot of that poetry, those poetic lines that are abstract and things of that nature, the timing is completely off as far as me doing the cold reading. If I read over and over again of it, then I'd catch on to the timing. But this is actually my first cold reading in the literal sense. I'm gonna take a vape and then I'll continue on the scene 2. All right. Act 1, Scene 2. Setting, Stillman's home, bedroom, plane. At rise, a couple hours later. As the lights fade up, or as the bedroom door opens, a hallway light throws light into the bedroom. We see Claire and Toby in the doorway's entryway. Claire and Toby approach Stuart Stillman, who is sleeping in his bed. Claire crosses to Stuart's one side as Toby crosses to Stuart's other side. Claire and Toby sit on the bed. Claire and Toby peer down at Stuart. Toby peers up over at Claire. Toby turns down to Stuart. Toby caresses Stuart's hair top. I really described way too much. Eventually, Stuart awakens. Stuart looks up into Toby's eyes. Mommy? I need to tell you something, darling. What, Mommy? Listen to Mommy very closely, okay? Okay, Pop. Because we don't want Mommy to repeat herself, right? Right, Pop. Stuart sits up in bed as Toby helps him prop the pillows behind his back. Toby? Toby eyes Claire for the longest of time. Toby's words seem to fall from her lips. Remember last year, Pop tickled me nearly to death because I kept lifting that cigarette? I tickled you, Mommy. I know you did, honey. I know you did. It was bad for Mommy not to listen. Why, Mommy? Because I was right. Right about what, Mommy? I couldn't help myself. See, I had this awfully bad habit. I know I sprayed that funny stuff all over, remember? Yes, I remember. God, Claire, I can't do this. He's my son. Take your time. Do what, Mommy? Tell you that Mommy, my baby, my beautiful angel, my gorgeous dove. What Mommy has to say is, would you rather have me? No, I will. Somehow I will. I promised you that trip to Disneyland, didn't I? Last month you did, Mommy. We'll go, baby. We will go. Somehow I promise, Toby. Don't make it any harder, please. But he is all but a child. Sometimes things don't happen like they should, understand? Like when the snow stops and the weatherman says it's okay to go to school, like that? Exactly like that, Stuart. I didn't plan on what I must tell you. Well, Pop told me to. He knows. He does. And he still loves me. Pop's leaving you? I'm leaving him. It's God's will. I'm dying, Stuart. I'm dying of cancer, Stuart. Your mother will be here for you. She's not going anywhere soon. Please don't be mad at me. Stuart moves to the side of the bed. Toby wants to stop in, but Claire nods her away. Stuart crosses to a cage. Stuart sticks his hand into the cage, withdrawing a pet rat. Stuart caresses the rat. Did you hear? Mommy is leaving us. Stuart. Maybe I'll visit her. Stuart. That's if it's okay. Read that there. Toby crosses to Stuart. Stuart, what? I'm not coming back. It's not that I don't want to, it's only... Please, Stuart, it's not that I don't love you. Where are you going? Somewhere far, far away. Kermit says the good ones go to heaven. You going to heaven? Am I a good one? Kermit says it's not up to me to decide. Who's it up to? God. And who is God? I don't know. Someone. Is he special? I think so. How's he special? I don't know. Take a guess. Bucky's special, but Bucky's a rat. He's still special. Why is Bucky special? Because she loves me. How do you know she loves you? She never bites, and when I go tick, tick, she yawns, which means she's feeling content, right? Well, where I'm going, I'll be content. You will, just like Bucky and God. And God. Stuart, what? How would you like to skip school tomorrow and go to Disneyland? Can Bucky go too? It's best she doesn't. But I'll go with you. Okay? Okay, but what? I won't get into trouble, will I? Of course not. Of course not. Let's put Bucky away, okay, baby? Mommy? Sorry, baby, I was just thinking. Trying to find a way around tomorrow? What, baby? Mrs. Ridley won't take any fibbing. What about Mrs. Ridley? She likes me to be on time. All right. Don't worry about Mrs. Ridley. I'll take care of her next week. Will you still be here next week? I think so. Of course I will, baby. Stuart, yes, Mommy? I love you. And no matter where I am, I'll be here for you. Okay, baby? Okay, Mommy. And if you have any questions, your Pop will be more than here for you. You understand, darling? Yes, Mommy. And Stuart, yes, Mommy. No matter how things may appear, never blame yourself, okay? Who should I blame, Mommy? No one, honey. No one. And if you want to cry, you can, okay, baby? Okay, Mommy. And baby? Yes, Mommy. If you like, you can sleep with Pop and me tonight. I'll be all right, Mommy. You sure? Doubly sure. Triply sure. You make Mommy proud. And Pop. You sleep well, okay, darling? Okay, Mommy. I love you. For any reason, you give us a yell, okay, young man? Okay, Pop. Claire crosses around the bed. Claire places his arm around Toby. Slowly, Toby and Claire cross to the doorway. As Claire exits, Toby turns around, closing the door. I'm only a flight up. She closes the door. She leaves. She then leaves the door partially open. Stuart gets out of bed. He crosses to the pet cage. He reaches in, picks up his pet rat. He caresses his pet rat. I'll never leave you, Bucky, no matter how bad you are. Stuart remains petting the pet rat. He kisses the pet rat at times. The lights fade slowly out. End of scene 2. So you're pretty much starting to understand. Never mind. Let me take a little talk here. I'll continue on to scene 3. Most of these scenes are relatively short, but I think one of these scenes are very long, so we'll see what happens. Act 1, Scene 3, setting Stillman's home, parlor, contemporary. At rise, following morning. As the lights fade up, we see Claire reading a morning newspaper in a chair. Toby is in the kitchen, off stage. The doorbell rings. Claire crosses to the front door. A few indistinct words are heard off stage after him opening the front door. Claire enters. Heidi Eric follows after Claire. Who was it, darling? It's Heidi. She had a few plans to drop off. Toby enters. I assume correctly you never met my wife. No, Mrs. I don't know if I could do Heidi, but anyway. No, Mr. Stillman. No, Mr. Stillman. Heidi, Toby, Heidi. Charmed. Care to sit down with us for breakfast too? My stomach's been churning all morning. Maybe I should. Charmed. Excuse me. I'll go set out another place, Matt. I didn't show up for work because we're taking Stuart to Disneyland. Toby crosses to the kitchen at times, looking over her shoulder. We thought it was about time. I know I should have called, but well, you understand. Besides, I thought you'd welcome the opportunity. Finally, Toby exits. Heidi realizes Toby is no longer in the room, therefore leaving only her and Claire. I've yet to write our thesis. Your thesis. Sit. Make yourself at home. Claire sits as Heidi sits on the arm of the couch. So let's see what we have here. He opens the paper plans. He looks over the paper. See, you've done your homework. You're an inspiration. Abruptly, as Heidi lets her hair fall out of the rubber band, Toby crosses through the entryway. Toby sees Heidi. Toby spots herself in the closet mirror. Toby feels the lines around her face. At times, Toby glances over at Heidi. Oh, not bad at all, Ms. Eric. Heidi is fine. Heidi. Breakfast will be served in 10. She's the best chef around these parts, you know. Really. I'll go wake Stuart. Excuse me, Toby exits. I never knew you had a son. You just turned 7. How interesting. What makes it more interesting? I see you somehow now in a different light. How different a light. Most guys my age have no conception what a committed relationship means. They're such fluff. I see your intellect is higher than 21. Thanks, Mr. Stillman. Claire will be fine. What was I saying? About my age. Claire? Right, about your age. Claire is momentarily lost in her eyes. Maybe I'm older than I appear. I personally think you're much younger than your age. I mean, that is, in appearance. Maybe senility at best? You senile? Think not. So you like the projective plans? Of course I do. It's quite accurate. Reformulating the breakdown of DNA in space is quite... He is lost in space in her eyes. Yes, Claire? You know something, Heidi. What else should I know? Phenomenal how well you resemble Toby. That is, at a younger age. Am I being somehow unreal? It's a small world after all. Yes, it is. Come on, you sleepyhead. I'm telling you, Mommy, my head hurts. I'll get some Tylenol in a second. Now you go say good morning to your father. Good morning, Pop. Good morning, son. You're a boy? Yes, Stuart. Stuart? Yes, Pop? I want you to meet a good friend of the family. Stuart, Heidi. Good morning, Stuart. Good morning, Heidi. You're a handsome young man. Thanks. Just like your father. I better go see what Mommy wants. Yeah, you do that. I'll see you in a little while, okay? Okay. Stuart exits. You've yourself a handful there. Yes, I do. Soon a bigger handful. Something the matter? No, just, yes, but, how long till breakfast? In 5. Okay. We've a plane to catch in 3 hours. I know everything will be fine. Stuart, no butter, dear. Something is the matter. Claire? Yes, Heidi. You're going to tell me about it. This isn't the time. When will be the time? I don't know. Soon. Excuse me. Claire crosses to a doorway, exits. Heidi remains still. Abruptly, Toby, at times Stuart helps, enters. Toby spots Heidi. Whatever happened to your partner? I don't know. Maybe I should go. After I fixed another platter, afraid not. Come on. To hell with Claire. Heidi crosses to the dining table. Heidi sits. Stuart brings out Heidi's plate of food as Toby fixes Heidi a place setting. This is yours, Heidi. Thanks, sweetheart. Where's Pop? Why don't you go and find him, Stuart? Okay, Mommy. Stuart exits. You've got yourself quite a man. Which one? Stuart, Mrs. Stillman. You can call me Toby. Toby. Pop, breakfast. Pop. So you work alongside Claire. We're really partners in the firm, but not partners. You know what I mean? I think I do, but did Claire ever mention he's a happily married man? Of course you respect this quality. Am I wrong? If you think we're having well, you're wrong, Mrs. Stillman. Let me correct that, or about to. Claire and yourself, are business partners. We have been working on this structural problem regarding DNA for some time. Does this microscope have 1 or 2 eyeglasses? Sometimes I hear it's 2. Is something wrong? I am not fooling around with your husband. I'm just making sure. Why don't you ask him yourself? Don't you trust him? I trust him. I cared to see your reaction. I have. Thank you. Just because I'm younger don't mean, even at my age, I've still ears. This is a great way to start off a day. Thanks, Mrs. Stillman. It was nice to have met you. I'll find my own way out. Have a nice time and make-believe. Heidi crosses the exit as Claire enters with Stuart by his side, holding Stuart's hand. The front door is that away. You're leaving already? I know when I'm unwelcome. Unwelcome. At least she knows her place. Who's this? What's this scene about, Toby? Just one civilized second here. Toby, let her wait outside. I'll speak with you. Could you? Heidi nods, hesitant yes. Heidi goes out into the hall, exits. Stuart, yes, Pop. Keep Heidi company, okay, Pop? Okay, son? Okay, Pop. Stuart crosses into the hallway as Claire lightly pats Stuart on his rear end. Are you mad? Maybe, a little. Simply cared to nip it in whatever bud I could. Nip what? Her little rosebud. Can't you tell she's in love with you? With me? Her eyes, Claire. Dancing naked in the new day's sun. Jesus, you can be so infantile at times. You didn't imply in any uncertain terms, did you? Sit, eat your meal. Toby, I'm warning you. I'm warned. Now sit and eat. Claire crosses toward the table, stops a few inches before his place setting. Afraid of a replacement, maybe. There's only one of you. No one can replace you, Toby. Besides, every time I look at her, I think of you. How? In every way. Her poise, her voice, reminds me of that nickname I used to call you. Blondie? Icy eyes of blue. And come to think of it, what made you stop calling me that? You changed your hair color. Huh, that's right, I became sick of hearing Blondie. Was I such a squeaky clean expression? May of life. I'm sorry. I would never do that, Toby, to you, to this family, never. I said I'm sorry, okay? Your attempt to kill us both. I'm sorry, Claire. You may win at one, but not the other. I know it's selfish of me. I just couldn't help but think. Now here I am, there she is. It's all so convenient. Beginning to let go is often harder if in the dark. I can't help myself fighting every inch of the way. Maybe I'm taking the wrong approach, I don't know. I never had any instruction regarding how to favor my death the most. To think all this and then nothing is... How can I convince myself to let it go? How do I, Claire, after all this time? Dying never places one in a favorable position. Only if I can let go, just let go and die. But how can I when all I need is right here before me? Where? This is my place. My place is here before you, Stuart. I tried to write last night the reason for my taking so long in the bathroom, and not a line, a word would come. I sat there on the edge of the tub and thought, what difference would another word make? What difference would another thought create? What difference have I made? Did I make any difference at all? You made Stuart. That's all the difference in the world, any world, and you. You've made me so very happy throughout my life. There'd never be another like you. Not in this life or any life. You did make a difference, a lasting impression. You must believe this is the truth. You're a guiding light. It's not pointless or hurried. You did, Toby. You made a wonderful difference. Maybe it's life's way of saying it's time to go. You've done your job well. Thanks a bunch. See you sometime soon. How I long to be an evergreen. Evergreens don't give birth to Stuarts. I never climbed Mount Everest, so I never ran for president of the United States. Does it really matter? Or received a Purple Heart, who'd really want to? Or made $1 million, raced a 500 Indy car, dove into the deep blue sea, sculpted a Calder monument, or read the entire Ulysses. He wrote a fine book of poetry, which only claims 643 hearts. You rather rule the world than this family? You really believe I've been ruling this family? No, but it was worth a shot. It's a long walk from here to there. There as in no place at all. We've only here. There, does it really matter? Maybe I'm making it out to be some disadvantage. It is a disadvantage. It's the price we pay for having lived and lived well. You want to know what I thought when I stood from the tub? Yes, what? If I never was born, I never would have the chance I have now. You want to know what I think? That is, when it's my time? Very much, Claire. Outside of knowing beforehand that I'll be buried alongside you, yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all I'd want. That's it. So ideal. What more could I ask for from this life? I love you, Claire. The lights fade out. End of scene 3, end of act 1, intermission. I cut a lot of the directions out because you don't need I'll put so many directions in this play. It's crazy. Might as well turn it into a screen story. Anyway, so we're into act 2 already, so. Little Charlie Noble Tripoli. Let me take a vape of this. I mean, it flows to a degree that it's pretty easy to read in one shot, you know. Okay. Act 2, Scene 1, setting, Stillman's home, bedroom, at Rise, 2 weeks later, day. As the lights fade up, we see Toby lying in bed, Claire by her side, seated. Alina Thomas asleep in a chair off in a corner. Toby slowly awakens. She reaches a hand out, touches Claire's face. Claire smiles in her direction. Where's Dirt? He's taking another nap, Toby. And Mother? Claire nods her eyes over to Alina's area. How peaceful. Did I sleep long this time? 17 hours. Did you inform the doctor? Yes. What was his response? Mixed. He'd like you to stay at the hospital. I belong here. You tell him that? I certainly tried. He thought differently. He thought differently? Claire nods yes. To hell with him then. If I'm to die, it'll be here, in this bed, not his. If you die, an escape planned? You know what I mean. Don't be silly. I made up my mind. Here is where I stay. He said if you're obstinate, and I figured you'd be, he considered and prescribed you these pills. What's each one for? Clara takes each pill out. Cytoaxim interpretation, Dr. Stillman, works by interfering with the growth of malignant cells. And that bottle, this round yellow one, methotrexate, another anti-cancerous drug. Side effects: mouth ulcers, decreased resistance to infection. Oh, how lovely. What other surprise does the good doctor have for me? Novendex, and that Butte, Premarin, an estrogen replacement. Abdominal pain, abdominal, vaginal bleeding, headaches, probably, and that there one. This oblong-like yellow pill, Biaxin, is an antibiotic to treat lower respiratory infections. Toby picks up the last bottle. She reads, Codeine number 4. I'm a jumping Mexican bean. She makes a fart noise between her lips. My life is over. Not yet. Don't tell me. Let me guess. With another 98 pills, I'll be bouncing about in no time? It could force you into that hospital for liability purposes. Instead, he fills me with lead. This is my death, Claire. I deserve to die as naturally as I came into this hodgepodge world. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying you're saying you allow the doctor to seduce you. I'm saying you must delay this problem, my death, as long as humanly possible. I, too, don't care to see you go. I, too, want to hang onto you as long as I can. I, too, matter, damn it. I'm also in this hodgepodge world with you. Don't give up so easily. I know I haven't. You're all that I have outside Stewart. I'm sorry. No, you're doing good. These moments slip away like hours, Toby. Every little moment I'm with you now is priceless. I never realized in my whole life how priceless each moment with you was, until now, and I'm willing, if you are too, to make all then up. But I can't do it alone. We're in this together, remember? Till till death do us part. I took the next month off. Will our savings hold? They better. What is it, soldier boy? The doctor said. The doctor said what? That. Please, Claire, you know how I hate suspense. Another Claire? What, baby? Tell me. I need to know. This is your last night. I wasn't planning on telling you. But I am happy you did. He upped the codeine to 4 last night. It's in its last stages. His last check last night, he was surprised how well you look. I told him you've always had the luck in the family. I can't believe what's happening slowly before me. Come tomorrow, I'll be less a believer. Somehow knowing this, I feel somewhat relieved. I hope it's not the effects of I did something last night you may look upon as childish. Plan to tell me now or wait until? I'll tell you now. I walked through those 2 wooden doors. I stood there feeling somehow naked before him. I asked him to spare you. Has he? He nods no. But it's not over yet. Always in its last moments. Why? A true weakness of man, no doubt. No. Another fruitless escape, Claire. To believe such miracles could occur. The charm in us all. How strongly we are deceptive to what lies before, not just you and me, Claire, but all. I plan to pass through this house of cards as a shooting star racing against dark space. Maybe hope still. Maybe peace throughout the world. Don't think us as an exception, Claire. No being, man or beast, will stop my dying. Sounds as if you're somehow now looking forward to your death. What I don't look forward to, Claire, is the length of my death. To be buried deep down under, my pale body decaying, lying there stone to stone, me dead forever. I hadn't planned on a death at age 36, but I've no choice when the time comes, no choice at all, but to look death in its eye and succumb to it. I can only hope its hands will be kind as it tucks me in its wake forever. There'll never be another like you, Toby. There'll never be another like you, Claire. Mother seemed so content sleeping there in her chair, that chair Father made with his own 2 hands. Mother was so happy that day. It didn't break into pieces when she sat on it. I was happy for her. It was a happy day. I had such a wonderful time that day. Barbecuing rib, chucking corn. It wasn't Stuart, only 2 then. Yes. Dad couldn't believe him alone. Pony ride for free, pony ride for free. I couldn't believe his leg could move so fast. You know, after that motorcycle accident. But there he was. Pony ride for free, pony ride for free. I love my father. Toby. Yes, dear. Would you like to take a walk? Would I like to take a walk? Where? Through our woods. How charming. We used to take long walks all the time before Stuart was born. We've still a bit of light left for this day. Can we walk down about the spruce, if you like? I'd like that very much. We can go now. Yes, let us do that. Clara helps her out of bed. What about Mother? Let her sleep. She worried much about you in the last few days. Toby crosses over to Lena. Toby places a soft kiss on top of Lena's head. You sleep well into the night. You're a dream, a beautiful dream. I love you. We go now. Yes, let us go. Clara shows Toby out of the door. Exit, lights fade out. End of scene 1. So they're somewhat small scenes there. Alright. Take another vape. Take vapes in between scenes. Act 2, Scene 2. Setting Wood's bench. At rise, moments later at dusk. As the lights fade up, we see Claire and Toby walking toward the bench. Toby and Claire sit down on the bench. Toby stares out in her bundled wardrobe. Claire at times stares at Toby. Over there, Claire, our bridge. I always wondered if it was too small a wedding ceremony. I don't think the birds really cared. I mean, all this space out here. Look at it all. We could have invited the whole town. You'd have liked that, wouldn't you? I still see the undercurrent. I thought that bridge would give, but it never did. It was a sunny day, Toby. You in white lace, your sister Clarissa as best girl. I still can see it all as if it were yesterday. Maybe it is yesterday. But we simply stirred in its time. Stirred's a blunt reminder it's not yesterday. True. He's such a good boy. I just know someday he'll make the honor roll. He's your logic and my magic. Such a gift given to us. I could never ask for more. The miscarriage no longer is painful. Stuart wipes its tears away. You wipe its tears away. We lived, Toby. We did. And we did it well. And nobody can take that away from either one of us. I know. I know. And even if you don't believe, we may find ourselves someday knowing just as well. You had a change in spirit since last night? Some things in life like this makes a person think twice about what is life, what is time, what is man, what is God. I don't know if I can say it's for sure, but I know I can say, that is now can say, maybe. Maybe there is this being we all go to. Maybe it's where all the pain disappears, or all the sadness and wars cease. Maybe where peace continuously reigns. Maybe. And angels floating, and Jesus speaking at the right hand of God, and children again playing, and couples loving, where all is well and well is good. Maybe, Toby. Alice in Wonderland, A Wizard of Oz, a Pied Piper, Santa Claus and his reindeer, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Mother Goose in a shoe, Little Mother Hubbard. Don't count your blessings. You just rather let it go. What else can I do? Hold it back? It makes it kind of easier, that's all. Easier for me or easier for you? Easier for us. I don't want easy, but I don't want it. Yet I know I must face it. And it's deep sleep. That's where it's quite troublesome, Claire. Its length, the duration. How can it just go on and on like that? I mean, here we are alive. Years pass by, tears, joy, and then zap. Way too long, the same thing, dead. The same long, straightforward thing. Just stretches for miles on end. On and on. It never ceases. It just lies there, dead. Not moving, not even still. Just there, stretched out, alone, forever, dead. That's what I don't look forward to. It's death. How death is dead. A dead death. No thought, nor feeling, no searching or dreaming, just there, dead. So pointless, forevermore pointless. Oh, I terribly hate just the thought of it. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I know you don't. I don't want you to die either. I want you here by my side always, just you, me, and Stuart, like it should be, like it's always been. And then there's a silence there. Walk me home, Mr. Stillman. It will be my pleasure, Lady Stillman. And then they both walk off the stage. fade out, lights fade out, end of scene 2. Somewhat quick scenes. Anyway, another joke. I finally put the Apollo Mech hybrid with the white Doge Ordier. Anyway, this is the last scene, I think, or close to the last scene. Close. So 2 or 3 scenes left, but it goes by quick. Act 2, Scene 3, setting... wait, hold on. Well, I guess it continues on. Oh yeah, never mind. Like I said, I haven't read this in so long. I don't know who's... Okay, never mind. This is like news to me as it is to you. So, new news. Anyway, Act 2, Scene 3, setting Woods Bridge. At rise 6 months later, day. As the lights fade up, we see Claire standing on a bridge. He stares down into the water. Alina crosses toward Claire with Stuart. Stuart plays on a swing as Alina crosses over to Claire. Alina stands by his side. It's been 6 months, Claire. Don't you think it's time to get on with your life? It's as if a part of me went down with her, never to resurface. I know Toby never believed in God. I often wondered what I did wrong raising her. I don't really know, but you, Claire, you always thought possibly. I still do. Wherever Toby is, you are too. No matter what happens down here, you are. And in knowing this, I know Toby would want you to find another path. Another path down a different road, even if it seems like it's been a road you've grown accustomed to. Can I tell you something, Claire? Anything, Alina. When her father died 3 years ago, she was heartbroken. She thought she'd never be the same. She loved her father. He was the world to her outside of you and Stuart. I remember how when I was going through my grieving, she'd come up into the bedroom which I had shared with her father for nearly 35 years. And she'd wrap her arm around me, and she'd say in her direct but hearted way, no matter where you go, he'll be to your right side. And I said, who would be to my left? And you know what she said? No, what? Whoever your other may come to be. See, she too would want this with you. She too knows how lonely it can be. And Stuart's a blessing. He's truly a remarkable boy. But still, there's a void he can't and never could fill. Don't cheat yourself with this part in your life. Max makes the difference. Max is more companionship than what I had with her father, but nevertheless, I am made happy by him. Maybe more content, but happy too at times. I just don't want to see you get yourself worked too deep into a hole where you can't seem to lift yourself out of. I work alongside this girl. Do you like her? She's very young. I have a lot of guilt left in me. Guilt I don't quite understand. Nothing happened, I want you to know. But, well, a few days before Toby passed on, she met this girl. Met her how? She arrived at the house. We were doing this project together. I hadn't showed up, finding out recently then that Toby was dying of cancer. I see, go on. And Toby had thought I was, but then she realized after I spoke with her, but she, at least the way I took it, she didn't want me to be with anyone else after Heidi, this is the girl. Claire nods yes. Can't figure why I try to ignore her. She asked about Toby, but I always shrugged it off. After a while, she just lost interest, I guess. How old is she? I think a couple months ago, she turned 22. I see. That's part of it. The other thing is every time I look at her, Heidi, yeah, I think of Toby. Why would you do that? Everything about her reminds me of Toby. Everything. It's odd. I don't want to involve her if it's not her. You know what I'm trying to say? Maybe you're afraid she too may die. Maybe. Maybe. Could that be what's holding me back? It couldn't be Toby. Something seems strange. What feels strange, Claire? Her being there and Heidi being here and me being somewhere lost in the middle. You're an honorable man, Claire. Don't deny yourself what rightfully belongs to you. I won't. You'll find life is short. You'll see how each fold of time creeps over and around you. And if you don't take it by its horns, it'll skirt itself clear right past you. And you too wrote poetry. Where you think my angel learned it from. You're truly a blessing in disguise. Never let an old lady's appearance fool you. I'd never say you're old. No, but I have. It's all right, Clara. I'm always here for you, as Toby would have been. I love you. And I too love you, Claire. Elena and Claire turned to Stuart, who's swinging away. Higher, Stuart, touch the sky. Like this, Grandma. Like that, beautiful. And they continue to watch, and the lights fade out. End of scene 3. Almost over. Act 2, Scene 4, setting laboratory, typical order. At Rise, a few days later, at dusk. As the lights fade up, we see Heidi seated before a microscope. She is taking down notes, looking into the microscope. Claire enters the laboratory. He stands still in the doorway. He watches her. He crosses to her side. He looks down at her note-taking. Claire corrects her. And I cannot do this chemical name for nothing, but I'm going to try for it anyway. Deoxyribonucleic acid must hydrolyze to CH3COOH, or the reverse reaction will neutralize the enzyme. Just like my hypothesis too. Always H3, never H2, Heidi. Why the sudden interest in my assignment? Last week you hardly paid it any mind. I realize I've treated you lately less than a grain of salt. Don't you mean sodium chloride? I'm sorry. Must I correct this also? I've been through a lot, Heidi. I don't expect you to hold me dear as you once had. As I once had? I don't know how quite to say this. I'll just say it. You're 17 years my junior. Am I like too young to get your meaning? I can understand DNA processes, but I can't understand why you're sorry. Be for real. I'm trying to. Maybe this is all wrong. Forget I even tried to. Try to what? Ask you out. He peers into the microscope. Interesting. Who is this enzyme? He turns the magnifier. Could this be? He places a few drops of fluid into the dish. It's stabilizing. Let me see. He lets her look into the eyeglass. He looks all over her. He attempts to place his hand on her hair, but instead, as her face lifts off from the lens, her hair touches his hand. Instead of taking his hand off her hair, he lets it lie upon her hair. It's such a beautiful little thing. If you only could what? Hold you. She turns to face him. She looks up at him. Who's stopping you? He wraps his arms around her, draws her near. She slowly wraps her arms around him. What about Toby? Would it matter if I said, she's right here beside me? Heidi not totally believing. Not in so many words, because she is. Right here beside me as you are before me. I don't mind. I really don't mind. He caresses her hair. You're an angel, a beautiful, gifted angel. Very slowly, the lights fade out. End of scene 4. We're at the last scene, by the way, guys. Take a real quick vape here. Act 2, Scene 5, setting, theater house, dark, 2 chairs. At rise. And before the lights fade up, we hear the same music as in Scene 1. Act 1. The music fades into the background music as we hear voices from the live show, but as if in the distance or barely heard. As the lights fade up, the beam of light from the live show off stage, we see Claire and Heidi seated side by side, as in rows of seats in a theater house, but with no one else around. And then Heidi says, "You come here often?" "I used to all the time. With Toby." "Yes, with Toby." "This production's been playing here for over 10 years. Appears as a tragedy." "It has its good moments, too." Claire, "Yes, Heidi. Why the change in heart?" "My mother-in-law talked me into it. That's not the real reason." "I've known you for how long?" "I don't know, maybe since my freshman year. Nearly 4 years then. I guess, yes." "Could you say honestly it was all work and no play?" "Yes, I guess I could, even though I was more leaning toward that's past." "My wife's passing on made me realize something for the very first time." "Made you realize what for the very first time?" "You." "Me." "Yes. How's that?" "In every ending sprouts a beginning. Something like DNA, much more complex than DNA." "Oh, come on, Claire. There's nothing more complex than the structure of DNA." "Heidi, Eric." "Well, I'm made up of DNA, of course, but as if you passed through her, I to you." "I don't quite get what you're saying." "Death is a mere pause." Heidi looks at the show before her and she says, "She'll fall into his arms. Watch. See what I tell you. We must never give life to pause, Heidi. It must go on forever in each other's spirit." This isn't anything religious because I'm really not into, call it what you will, I call it life. Life, okay. Maybe we go home. "You must meet my father. I know he'll like you. He's a professor at Northwestern, right? Law. And don't let his words entrap you. I've heard words higher. He's pretty good about this type of stuff." "What type of stuff?" "Our ages and things. As long as his girl's happy, that's all which counts." "And are you happy?" "I have an intelligent, good-hearted, handsome, near 40-year-old. What girl wouldn't be?" "Are you happy?" "I'm content." "Content. So we go." "Just a moment more." "Is Stuart home with Alina?" "Who's Alina?" "Toby's mother." "Oh. She won't be too, well, if you're worried about how she'll react toward you, just a little, you'll be fine. Believe me, you'll be just fine. You ready?" "About Toby. What about Toby?" "Do you still miss her?" "Sometimes. But not as much as I had." "Because of me?" "Because of you." "Because of you I am, once again." Lights slowly fade out. End of scene 5, end of act 2, end of play. So, it's called Death and the Flower. So it's really about like rebirth, meaning not in any kind of strange Hindu sense or anything, but in the sense that, in life there's death. People die every day. As I'm speaking into this camera phone here to upload it onto YouTube, someone, or not just someone, but several thousand people just died. Eventually, I don't know, could be 10, 20 years from now or whatever, they'll be talking about me in past tense, and they'll be talking about you in past tense. And that's how it works in life. You have life and you have death. And there are those that can accept it for what it is, a very long death that just goes on forever. And there are those that make up religion and God and all this stuff in order to relieve themselves of that long-lasting death, just exist in and of itself forever. And so this is what it was about. So here you have a woman that dies of cancer, and her husband is in a place where he can either sort of die with her, but yet remain alive to keep his son, going and all that, and make sure his son lives well and everything. But inside, as a man or as a husband, he died momentarily. Like he said, death is a mere pause, meaning that when Toby had died, Claire sort of died with her, and there was a mere pause there. And then, after speaking to the mother-in-law, he started to come back around and was born again, so to speak. Not in a religious sense or anything, but born again, and found life again in Heidi. So that really is a very simple play. And I never sent it out. I never sent it to any theater. Maybe I should, but I never did. And I would definitely rewrite it and cut a shitload of directions out of it. Because my later pieces in the 2000s, I very little description. But I used to write novellas and novels and short stories, and I think I was sort of trying to, well, not trying, but at that time in the 90s, I was still doing that, sort of writing very descriptive in parentheses. And a lot of playwrights do that, especially playwrights that direct their own pieces, like Samuel Beckett. Holy crap, if you read his plays, I mean, he has so much description in his plays, down to the hairline, down to the footstep. I mean, but he directed most of his plays too. And not only that, but people that would write, I would say more like pre-1960s. So people like Eugene O'Neill, Shevkov, not Tolstoy, what's his name, Ibsen, and all those guys. They would be very, very, very descriptive in their passages. But starting like in the 60s and onward, especially in the 70s, especially in the 80s, and definitely in the 90s onward, you didn't do so much description in your plays, and you left it mainly up to the director to figure out how characters should look or move and be blocked on the stage, so to speak. And then you would have this rapport with the director, and hopefully some of your ideas will filter through him and eventually get right back into the play again as you visualized it when you wrote the play. That's why, like Woody Allen, when he would do his, it's mainly his screenwriting. That's why he always directed his movies, or at least like 95% of his movies were directed by him, because he wanted full control over what he wrote on paper. And the same thing with the stage. Unless you direct your own piece, you pretty much leave it up to the director. Of course, you have a rapport with the director, but ultimately, believe it or not, it's really the director's vision of what the play will ultimately be. And so you have to trust the director to bring what you put down on paper onto stage through the actor's lips and expressions and physical movements, etc. Then, of course, set designs and all that other stuff. And hopefully the director will get it right as you, as a writer or creator of the piece, that actually visualize it in your own head. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. That's why a lot of even playwrights will only direct. They will direct their own stage plays, because they have full control over that process. They don't have to answer to anyone but the producer. And the producer really doesn't really care so much about what goes on stage, as long as it makes a profit. So that's just a process. But anyway, that was called Death in the Flower. And I think I'm going to do another stage reading, or not stage reading, but a cold reading of another play, but it's extremely long. It's in 3 acts, and it's over 200 pages long. Let's see if, where's it at? Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I want to read this play. This is another play. I sent it out to one theater, and they sent it back, I think like within 2 months, and told me that it was too long. And I wrote to them back, and I said, of course it's too long. I wrote it that way, and I never heard back from them. So, but anyway, yeah, it's very, very, it's very long. It's very long. It's 218 pages long, so it probably would could be acted out, played out, probably a little over 3 hours long. But I wrote this in 2000, well, actually from 2009 to 2011, I sort of compiled it together over a period of time. And it's a really good piece. I still love this piece very much, but I think maybe it's just too long. But anyway, I'll probably read that sometime tomorrow, or sometime or another. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that Death in the Flower. And I will be back with other videos, of course, on various topics. And, of course, I'm going to try to do that cold reading tomorrow on the other play, on this very full-length play, huge full-length play. And anyway, until then, you guys have a good one. Bye.